Hello from beautiful La Palma Island in the Canaries. In this video today, I want to answer some of the most frequently asked questions that I got on my videos where I'm searching for a house in Bulgaria because there's a lot that I didn't explain in my videos. So if you want to know why Bulgaria, what is my price range, what is my plan, all that, tune in. I'm gonna answer all those questions. Why Bulgaria? Like, why am I buying a house in Bulgaria and why do I want to live in Bulgaria? First of all, I'm buying a property in Bulgaria because it's affordable. I wish I could buy a property in my own country, Slovenia, but with the state of real estate that is now, that would be just nearly impossible at this moment. In my experience and my research, properties in Bulgaria are much, much more affordable. And because of the whole situation of how many people left Bulgaria to go work in the West, and that kind of made a situation where a lot of the properties are left empty. There's a whole villages that are left empty. So the opportunities, the availabilities, the vacancies are really, really abundant. For someone who wants to buy an old house, it's kind of an ideal market, I would say. But why specifically Bulgaria? Of course, I could have gone to other countries. There's other countries where real estate is cheap. They are selling houses for €1 in Italy, and there's like these amazing empty villages in Spain where you can buy cheap properties. There's cheap properties in Romania, in so many different countries. But for me, Bulgaria, I don't know, it just felt right. I've been there 2 times now, and I felt kind of home. It's still a Balkan culture. It's still a Slavic culture, which I am. So for me, it's not as foreign as, I don't know, moving to Italy. Even though it's our neighboring country, the culture is very different, especially if you go more south Italy or Sicily. Same with Spain. Like, it's a different culture. I mean, culturally, I feel close to Bulgaria. I also feel closer to the language because I speak a Slavic language, because I speak Serbian, because I learned Macedonian for 1 year in university, even though I forgot most of it. I just kind of understand it. I don't speak it well. I usually speak Serbian, but people, especially older ones, they understand what I'm saying. So I'm not learning the language from scratch. It's not like I'm going into a complete unknown. I already have some base and I already understand a little bit. So that is for sure a big factor. So if you compare Romania or Bulgaria, you know, like for me, Romania with Latin and the whole culture is completely different. Like, it's just a no-brainer. And then throughout the time that I spent there, I don't know, it just kind of like felt really homey. I felt very welcomed by everyone. Even throughout these videos, I was very surprised because people are very encouraging. Like, locals there are very encouraging of expats coming there, of tourists coming there, and even buying properties, which is not the case in a lot of countries, especially Spain right now. If you've been following the news, you know. And I'm in La Palma Island, where a lot of expats live here, especially Germans. You know, the integration thing, I spoke to a lot of people here, and they say that no matter how long they are here and they speak the language and they're really integrated into the culture, the locals still don't accept them. It's just their culture. They are like that. And in Bulgaria, I felt really welcomed, really accepted. Like, everyone was encouraging the fact that I'm trying to buy a property there. Everyone was really helpful. The local people especially, they're like, hey, if you need anything, if you want to check this village or that, if you need any information about water, let me know. You know, before you buy a property, just tell me where it is and I will give you some information and what to be careful of. Like, everyone has been super supportive, and that's, of course, like a really important thing because I'm going to be living there. And then another big factor that is kind of close to that is just I really love the sense of community. I feel like Bulgaria is still one of those countries where the sense of community is really important. Like, it's really enhanced, especially when you're living in a small village. You kind of depend on your neighbors as well. And if you produce your own food or have animals or things like that. And that's what I felt when I was driving through rural Bulgaria and speaking to people. And even in towns, like, I felt the sense of community is just much, much stronger than it is in the West. Like, in Slovenia, in a lot of places where I lived, like, I had no idea who my neighbors were, which is kind of sad. If you want to build something there, if you want to have a farm, if you want to, I don't know, throw events or retreats or anything like that, I think is just like the community is super important. You need a support of the community. Otherwise, I would not want to live somewhere where I wouldn't feel like I have that support and where I can be connected and really involved in the local life and contribute to the local life. So yeah, that was like super important to me, and that's what I felt in Bulgaria. And then there's just the beauty of it all. Like, Bulgaria is incredibly beautiful. Like, I couldn't believe it. Honestly, it's huge. Like, I've only touched the surface of Bulgaria and been to like very few places, but the ones that I've been, like the villages, some are like just like fairy tale villages, so idyllic, so pretty. The nature seems really pristine. Like, it's not like in Romania, you drive to the mountains, you go through the Transfăgarașan Pass, and you come on top, and it's like you can see the whole capitalist system there in the mountains, and it's just a bit sad. Whereas, yeah, in Bulgaria, I just felt the nature is more pristine, more raw, more beautiful. I don't know, more untouched. Like, the landscapes are just incredible. So yeah, for me that is super important because I want to be very in touch with nature. I want to be like here, I'm literally living outside, and I don't know, it's just something that I learned during my depression years, during my burnout, that I really need to be in nature like as much as possible. So that is also super important. And then just from a technical and practical standpoint, buying a property in Bulgaria is quite easy, I would say, from what I've heard. Like, it's in the European Union, and yeah, the paperwork, the bureaucracy is super transparent, super easy. So that's also like one of the benefits, I guess. It's not why I decided, but I guess, I could buy a property outside of the European Union. Like, I love Albania, but I think it would be just so much more difficult. So yeah, that's also one of the kind of like benefits. While I was doing the viewings for the house, I actually met a lot of expats, especially British, who moved to Bulgaria, and I have not heard a single bad experience or a single like regret or anything negative. Like, everybody was so happy and so content with their decision to moving, and for them it's like it's quite a different cultural experience than it is for me. So yeah, that gives you a little bit of like validation that okay, I'm not crazy for thinking to move to Bulgaria, and yeah, it gives you a little bit of comfort. I want to just quickly tell the story of how I even stumbled upon real estate market in Bulgaria, because it was quite interesting. So for quite a while, my ex-boss, who has been my life mentor, she's been telling me about Ben Fogel. He's this TV presenter doing like really cool travel, but also like alternative lifestyle kind of stories. And she's been telling me about him for months, and I never took the time to check. I always forgot to check his channel. And then one day I just remembered, and I think it was during the pandemic or just after. It was this show about a couple who was walking throughout all Europe, and during the pandemic, because you couldn't really move, they were stuck in Bulgaria, and they bought a house for 2,500 euros. And I was like, wait, what? you can buy a house for 2,500 euros. I mean, it was a shell of a house, but it was a shelter for them. So, and I just was like, that's impossible. So I started doing a little bit of research. And when I saw houses for like, yeah, 10,000, and they were actually like livable places, I was like, that cannot be. Jesus Christ. Okay. Yeah. So I started like digging, and here we are. What is my budget? Okay, let's talk money. Ideally, I would love to find a place for 12,000 or under, which, you know, it's not a lot, but I've seen people buy houses for 6, 7, 8,000, and they moved in pretty much straight away. So I know it is possible, but I have quite a big list of demands of what I want, which I will get into in a bit. Yeah, the thing is, this is what I have of cash. Well, a little bit over, just for, you know, all the bureaucracy and notaries and papers and stuff like that. But basically, this is the money that I've saved in the last 2 years, because I was not a big savings person. But I'm one of those people who does not want to live in debt. At my age, if I took a loan, it would literally mean that I would be paying it off until I die, which I don't want to do. Also, I don't want to be employed anymore. So yeah, it's just a no. I don't want a mortgage. I don't want anything. I'm single, so I have to pay for everything myself. Yeah, so this is where we are at. It would be good if I can find something in that price range. What is my plan? First and foremost, I just want a home for myself. My entire life, I have lived in places that weren't mine. I was always renting or moving a lot, actually, moving countries, living in all kinds of situations, very humble ones as well. So I just want to have a home that is completely my own, and I can decorate it and build it and create it however I like. I want to create a complete sanctuary for all my senses, somewhere secluded with beautiful nature, beautiful idyllic surroundings, lots of land views, hopefully, have farm animals, chicken, geese, I don't know, maybe a donkey, a sheep, a llama, who knows, a horse, dogs and cats for sure. Yeah, I just want it to be a really creative, really inspiring, really peaceful, very quiet place, possibly somewhere outside of the village or in the mountains or something like that. Once that is kind of established, I want to build it into an artist retreat or like an artist residency kind of place where artists like myself, writers or I don't know, editors, journalists, whatever, could come for a couple of weeks or a couple of months and have their perfect setting to create there. So that is kind of end goal, which will be done in many, many different stages, of course. In the comments, I got a lot of concerns or recommendations of like, why don't I just buy empty land or build a house, buy a mobile home, or I don't know, some of these like modern assembly things? Simply because my dream is to live in an old house. I really want something that has history, that already has characters, stories. I love old stuff. I don't know, it just has so much more character and charm than some of the new things now. I mean, especially buildings. Honestly, they are so boring and so sterile, and just I don't like this modernist, minimalistic stuff. I don't. If you're a creative person, I don't know, for me, I need an environment that has character, basically, that has color, that has shapes, that has stories. I like the old traditional way of building, especially natural materials. I want to live in a house as natural as possible. Stone, mud, straw, wood. That's it. Perfect for me. most of you here don't really know me that well, but I can live very modestly. I lived in a yurt, I lived in a cave, I lived on a ship, I lived, in many different environments that weren't necessarily comfortable. I don't need much. So buying an old house for me, for some it's like really scary. For me, it's like super exciting. I want that, and I know this is gonna be my life's big project, and I know it's not gonna be done in 2 years. It's impossible. To go back to why I don't do some of those things, one is that, but second is like buying an empty land, like you have nothing to work with basically. You still need all the permissions. You need to start from zero, and I don't want that. I want already some base to be there. And I've always been like that, even in my profession as a stylist. Like, I can assemble something beautiful from things that already exist, but I couldn't be a fashion designer because I don't have the imagination to create something from zero. I'm just not that kind of a person. So buying an empty land is just, I don't have the vision, or like I don't have the necessary not skills, but I just lack the vision of like what I could do with that. But when I see an old house, I'm like, oh my god, this, it could be like this and that, and to best describe my plan, I actually asked AI to create a picture of my dream house, and this is basically how I want it to look like as the end result, which might be in like 20, 30, 40 years, who knows, but we will come there. The next most common concern and comment is something in the lines of, why are you buying a house that's basically a ruin? It's gonna cost you so much money to repair and renovate, and so much time and so much labor and people and hiring this and that. And obviously, I mean, that's a given. I completely realize that. And yes, I might be delusional in thinking that I can handle it, but I mean, probably I can. So far, when I've been living here on this island, I've done a lot of the things that I will have to do in my own house, and I was completely able to do them. That's one thing. I'm now in a place where I'm getting that confidence that when I have my own property, that I'm going to be able to do a lot of work myself. But mostly my plan is basically to renovate as much as possible with reclaimed, recycled, repurposed materials. So basically others people trash will be my treasure. Try to incorporate as many natural materials as well. So when I'm looking for a house, I'm actually looking for those houses that have all the fucking junk inside, because for me that's materials. So that's one thing. And of course there's some parts that you have to buy new, like plumbing, electricity, things like that, all the wires and things like that. So that's just an expense that you have to do. But for everything else, I'll try to repair old things, how they used to do it back in the day. They didn't just throw stuff away and buy new shit. They actually repaired things. So I'm gonna try to do that. But when it comes to labor, my plan is to utilize platforms like Workaway to get volunteers to come to my place and help me rebuild it. And in exchange, I will offer accommodation, I will offer food, I will offer community, I will offer them skills, cultural exchange, things like that. So that's kind of like how I plan to renovate everything. And I know this is going to be very time consuming, but like I said, I don't want IKEA furniture. I don't need a swimming pool. I don't need luxury. I lived in a cave, so I'm fine with it being very basic but beautiful. And I just want the energy of the place to be, just very calming, everything natural and really creative. I mean, it's gonna be kind of like mix between this like avant-garde, bohemian, hippie, artistic, sanctuary, retreat. I don't know. Who knows how it's gonna look like. All artists and creatives are welcome to contribute their input in the place. So yeah, it's gonna be super exciting to see what people come in and help me design this dream. Am I set on any specific locations? At this point, no. I haven't really seen enough of the country to say I want to be in this region or that region, or this one is better, this one is more according to my needs or anything. I just don't know enough. So I plan in the upcoming months to explore a little bit more, maybe also regions that are not so known or touristic. Which villages did I like from what I've seen until now, house hunting? I did like Lomci, I did like Konak, I did like Dolni Damjanovci. This one was really nice. I like villages where it's like 10 houses, that's it, and a little bit mountainous or something with a view. But again, I haven't seen enough to really be able to recommend you anything. How am I searching for a house? Well, first I started searching online on just real estate agencies, websites, YouTube videos. So the week, as you've seen from the videos I spent in Bulgaria, I was going around with real estate agents, so they were showing me what they thought is appropriate for me. And I think maybe that's not the best way of doing it. I think now I will try a different approach, just because also, like, from the pictures that you search online, that you see in the ads, you cannot really tell like what are the surroundings, what is the village like so many unknowns. And also I'm the kind of person, I just need to see the property in person and feel it. When I will feel the place, I will know it's the right one, and so far I haven't felt that. The last house in the last video that I posted, that was the closest, but it had so many unknowns that I just wasn't willing to buy it, and also it was twice the budget, so that was a clear no. But how I'm gonna do it now is I'm just gonna basically live in Bulgaria. I'm gonna do different workaway projects, different volunteering projects in different areas. So I'm gonna be in each area for a few weeks, let's say, get to know the people there, drive around as much as possible, talk to people, just kind of like hope that the universe will send me to the right place and I will stumble upon a house. Because yeah, I don't know, like I felt like doing it with real estate agents, first of all, was very exhausting, very tiring, and you get your hopes up and you see the place and then it's like it just doesn't fit any of the criteria, and it was so much driving around, and yeah, it just wasn't, I think, the way that feels like natural, feels like yeah, I feel like the right place will find me. I'm confident in that, so I don't want to push it too hard and be like super aggressive with looking. So I'm just gonna spend a lot of time in Bulgaria and hopefully the right place will show up. How aware am I of the infrastructure problems in Bulgaria? That was a lot of comments. I'm very aware. I've talked to enough people and seen enough places that I know a lot of them have problems with infrastructure, especially with water. Also, some roads in some places are, yeah, I can't really call them roads, right? But it's all, you know, like, what are you willing to compromise? I think if I found the perfect place and they wouldn't have water, which I know is so essential, but I mean, I've been to villages where essentially there's no water during summer months, but there's still a village, people still live there, so it's possible, right? I know you're very limited, but I'm also a very resourceful person, and I know that for every problem there's a solution, so anything can be done. But yeah, of course, ideally I would want there to be everything, even though there was a time when I was thinking, oh, I could totally like live off grid. But yeah, maybe not for this project. I will see. That's still an open thing. But yeah, I'm very aware of the infrastructure problems. No place is perfect, right? So a lot of people ask me where I'm from. I'm from Slovenia. So as I said at the beginning, I relate to this culture because we are Slavic, we are Balkans. So for me, it's kind of like potato, you know. We all come from the same pot. What can I say about Slovenia? Oh, we're only 2 million people. Yeah, very small country, small nation. But we are resilient, and I think that's gonna show, hopefully, in the upcoming months with this project. All right, last question. Where am I at in this project right now? Well, I'm not in the project. As I said, I'm on La Palma Island in the Canaries. I've been here for 2 months and a half, almost 3. Basically escaping winter, but also acquiring skills that I think will be useful once I start building up my own place. So I was volunteering in different fincas, in different properties, gardening, doing maintenance, building things, building with natural materials, taking care of animals. Right now I'm taking care of horses. All these videos are coming up after this one, so you're going to be able to see on like what is the process of me acquiring the skills, and also living kind of off grid, living in nature, doing all this kind of alternative lifestyle kind of thing that I'm going to be doing once I buy the property. So yeah, for me this was all like a trial to try to live in remote places, live outside, live in nature, live a little bit more like a hippie bohemian lifestyle, volunteer, see how other people are running these kind of projects, see how they are organizing, see how they are like what systems do they have in place, what is possible, how they rebuild things, how they fix things, what kind of materials they use. Like, I learned so much in these 2 months, probably more than in last, I don't know, 10 years of my career. Like it's insane. So it really gave me confidence that this is really what I want to do. I really want to buy a house. I really want to renovate everything, and yeah, just run a really cool place where people can come and create. I actually just today booked a ticket to go back. So in a week, I'll be flying back to Slovenia. I will spend maybe a couple of days or a couple of weeks there. Ideally, buy an old car, something that will come in handy both for road tripping, sleeping off grid somewhere in Bulgaria and doing this project. And then later when I buy a house, so I have a vehicle that I can transport all these materials and da 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 da. So yeah, in a few weeks I'll be back in Bulgaria. I'll be volunteering, I guess, in different properties, different projects. If you have any recommendations, like where I could go, where I could learn how other people are running their projects in Bulgaria, what is possible and what not, I would like to meet like-minded people, yeah, people who are renovating, who are building, running retreats, running, yeah, eco farms, gardening, permaculture, all that kind of stuff. That's kind of the plan. And while I'm going to be doing that, of course, I'm going to be on the lookout for my dream property. And so once I buy it, everything that you've heard throughout this video is going to slowly get into motion. Of course, this is like an idea that I have in my mind, a plan, a rough, very rough plan. How it's actually going to happen, where, when, that's the universe to decide. But yeah, I'm super excited. While I was editing these videos now back, because I've been in Bulgaria in November, so it's been like 5 months since I've been there, and I've been editing this video, I just all the time was just like, I miss it so much. I felt so good in Bulgaria, like honestly, so welcomed and so nice that I cannot wait to go back and spend the entire summer there. Oh my god, I think that's it. I think this video is already super long. If you have any more questions or you want me to go into more detail, I don't know if I can actually, because as I said, it's all just an idea in my head. If you have any recommendations, any ideas, anything, just write down below. And I just want to thank everyone from the bottom of my heart who has been supporting, watching these videos, commenting, because just today I realized that I finally hit the limit of like I can now monetize my channel. Of course, I'm not going to be earning almost anything, maybe cents, because it's still not enough of traffic. But like I it took me a very, very long time and so much work and so much time to arrive to this place. So thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart for just being here and watching, and sending all my love to you. All right, bye bye.